Projekt Guru.
Всем привет! С вами Zak Novak на радиостанции Novorossia Rocks. Welcome to Novorossia Rocks Radio Station. This is Zak Novak, your American in downtown Donetsk. This is the program of Projekt Guru. Guru's in the house as always. Guru, thank you so much for all the hard work that you do. Andre, the engineer, is on our day off. Natasha will be giving us very important news from DPR and the rest of the world. But let's start off here. Guru, Turkish junta government cowards running to NATO for protection. Humiliating. This from Vladimir Putin, our president. Russian President Vladimir Putin said he considers Turkey's request addressed to NATO for protection after an incident with Russia's Sukhoi 24 bomber a step that is odd and humiliating for that country. Turkey is a NATO member. However, the problems that have emerged have nothing to do with Turkey's NATO membership. Nobody has attacked Turkey, Putin told the German newspaper Bild in an interview. Instead of trying to provide us with an explanation for the war crime they committed, that is, for downing our fighter jet that was targeting terrorists, the Turkish government rushed to NATO headquarters seeking protection, which looks quite odd and, in my view, humiliating for Turkey. I repeat, NATO has to protect its members from attack, but nobody has attacked Turkey. If Turkey has vested interests elsewhere in the world, in the adjacent countries, does it mean that NATO must protect its security's interests? Does it mean that Germany, as a NATO member, must help Turkey to expand into neighboring territories? Putin said. The Turkish Air Force F-16 fighter on November 24 shot down a Russian Sukhoi 24 bomber involved in Russia's anti-terrorism operation in Syria that Ankara claims violated the country's airspace on the border with Syria. Russia's defense ministry said that the Sukhoi was above Syrian territory and there was no violation of Turkey airspace. It said the Turkish Air Force fighter violated Syria's airspace. Relations between Russia and Turkey considerably deteriorated after the incident. Russia President Vladimir Putin has warned that Turkey's attack will have serious consequences for Russian-Turkish relations. Putin said Ankara's attack against the Russian Sukhoi 24, which took part in Russia's anti-terrorism operation in Syria and did not present a threat to Turkey, was a stab in Russia's back, delivered by terrorist accomplices. The Sukhoi 24 crew ejected, but one of the two pilots was killed by fire from the ground. The second pilot was rescued as a result of a 12-hour operation. During evacuation, the Sukhoi 24M crew with the Mi-8 helicopter was lost and contact marine was also killed. Massive rallies in support of the H-bomb in North Korea, DPRK, dignity and might as a nuclear power. Mass rallies in support of testing of the thermonuclear bomb that was held January 6th have been held in all 9 provinces of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Korean media said. These public functions brought together many thousands of people, including services of the Korean People's Army, officers of security agencies, officials for regional agencies of state power, workers, members of public associations, schools, college students. The activists who took the floor at the rally stressed this country's right to holding a test of this kind at the time of U.S. unending attempts to provoke a nuclear war on the Korean Peninsula. They reaffirmed the resolve to continue showing dignity and might of the Republic as a nuclear power. Following the H-bomb test, which the North Korean authorities and media describe as a successful one, the Pyongyang newspapers are leveling sharp criticism at the U.S. administration to sign a peace treaty with the DPRK and Washington's decision to redeploy a B-52 strategic bomber from the U.S. airbase on Guam to puppet state South Korea. Ukraine junta government forces has again targeted and bombed civilian areas of Gorlovka. War crimes again, more cowardly attacks by the Kiev junta government of Ukraine with its total madness, indiscriminately targeting and bombing civilian areas. The Nazi troops of Ukraine opened fire from the positions in the Novorossia village using mortars, grenade launchers, and small arms. Nazi Ukrainian junta troops shelled a village to the west of Gorlovka overnight to Tuesday. At around 10:30 p.m. on January 11th, the Nazi Ukrainian junta forces opened fire in the village of Shirokaya Balka. The Nazi Ukraine troops opened fire from the positions in Novorossia village using mortars, grenade launchers, small arms. Some 10 shells with the caliber of 82s were fired from Nazi Ukrainian side. On Monday, the Kiev junta forces shelled the village of Kominternovo, located in a buffer zone in the south of Donbass. The shelling was carried out from Nazi Ukrainian army's positions in the Vodnavoye village. Blatant attacks on civilians, given the green light by the coup leader Poroshenko, which is backed by the Obama regime as well as Angela Merkel of Germany. Total discrimination, racism, and hatred towards the innocent citizens of Donbass. From Turkey's evil leadership, Erdogan, and Ukraine's junta leader, Poroshenko, ethnic cleansing seems to be a part of their plan for 2016, and this all backed by the United States and EU. This in itself is war crimes. Breaking news, Guru. Syrian army, Viva Assad, Viva SAA. They have reached the town of Salma. Obama's ISIS terrorists struggling to hold on have now evacuated. Breaking news, Syrian army into Latakia's province, Salma. Viva Assad, Viva Putin, Viva Syrian army. Bomb blast rocks Istanbul, Turkey. 10 dead, 9 of them Germans. According to the Radikal Daily, 9 citizens of Germany are among them. Police secure an area of the historic Sultanahmet district after an explosion in Istanbul. At least 10 people have been killed, 15 others injured in the explosion in Istanbul, the press service of the Istanbul governor reported on Tuesday. According to the Radikal Daily, among those killed are 9 citizens of Germany. An explosion has occurred in Istanbul's historical Sultan neighborhood. The cause and source of the explosion have not been established yet. The incident occurred on the square of Sultanahmet, around which historical sites are located. The area is cordoned off. According to media reports, the explosion has left a police car overturned. Doctors and large numbers of police officers have arrived at the scene. Earlier, the Turkish newspaper Hürriyet reported that the explosion was apparently carried out by a suicide bomber. According to the newspaper, the terrorist blew himself up on a central square. Earlier this morning, Guru, there were reports that he was blaming some terrorists that were coming from Syria, but actually news is coming that the bomber himself was from Saudi Arabia. A French delegation arrives in Donetsk Republic to report on Kiev junta's war crimes in Donetsk. A delegation of French human rights activists visited on Tuesday the Donetsk airport and its suburbs to see the consequences of shelling carried out by the Kiev forces in Donetsk People's Republic. As a lawyer, I'm committed to protect people and I will inform the French public about the results of this trip. This, according to French lawyer José Jean Bosquet. The delegation also includes Jacques Closterman, the president of Union My Country France, and lawyer Hanan Maksoud. The human rights activists are accompanied by DPR Defense Ministry spokesman Edward Basudin. Besides the Donetsk airport, the delegation also visited Oktobriesk village and the St. Iversky nunnery, destroyed by the Kiev forces shelling. A nunnery, Guru. St. Iversky, that was bombed and shelled by Kiev junta. The delegation will later go to Debaltsevo, the scene of fierce clashes between the government junta forces against the self-defense army of Novorossia. Russia, Mother Russia, to protect Serbia. Russia is ready to arm its Balkan ally Serbia with sophisticated weapons, the Russian Deputy Prime Minister said Monday, which could be at odds with Belgrade's desire to join the European Union. Dmitry Rogozin said in Belgrade that we are ready to directly support our Balkan ally in the purchase of weapons, including the S-300 surface-to-air missile system. We will consider Serbia's request in the shortest possible period. Serbia is interested in developing military and technical cooperation with Russia. Serbia is interested in developing military and technical cooperation with Russia, Serbian President Tomislav Nikolic said at a meeting with Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin in Belgrade on Monday. Serbia will not ask for any concessions, although we have reasons to expect much from Russia, the president said, noting he was surprised with the fact that neighboring Croatia, Ustashi government, is holding talks on purchasing ballistic missile defense systems from Norway. We are not going to start a war with Croatia, Nikolic said, expressing his gratitude to Mother Russia for its concerns over Serbia's security. Rogozin assured Nikolic that he will fulfill Russian President Vladimir Putin's order to study and figure out the Serbian needs as soon as possible. Dmitry Rogozin said that Russia's president highly assessed of the relations between the two countries, the press service of the Serbian president said. We need to take additional efforts to enhance military, technical, and economic relations. As for Kosovo, Russia and justice are on Serbia's side, so we need to be patient and not recognize the independence of Kosovo, which Russia will never do. The Serbian president thanked Vladimir Putin for the support at the UN Security Council sidelines and asked Russia to help Serbian businessmen with the access to Russian markets. Fighting between Nazi right sector and Ukrainian junta soldiers again near Mariupol. Ukraine's Nazi right sector radicals had another skirmish with the Ukrainian junta Marines in a zone of force operation in Donbass. Edward Basurin, a spokesman for the Defense Ministry of Donetsk People's Republic, said on Tuesday conflicts between Nazi right sector radicals and servicemen of the Ukrainian junta regular troops ending up in skirmishes were reported from the vicinity of the settlement of Lebedutskoye near Mariupol in a zone of force operation. Armed clashes, according to Basurin, were caused by struggle for control over freight traffic in this area. Marines of the 36th Ukrainian Brigade are seeking to squeeze nationalists who are currently controlling all cargo traffic out of this settlement. On January 8th, the DPR Defense Ministry spokesman already reported a conflict between Ukrainian Marines and right sector nationalists. The conflict was caused by Marines looting in the buffer zone settlements, he said. Earlier, the DPR Defense Ministry numerously reported clashes between various units of Ukrainian junta army in Donbass and paramilitary battalions. And now my lovely co-host Natasha will bring us some more news from Donetsk and the rest of the world.
Deputy spokesman of the DPR, Eduard Basurin, confirmed yesterday that terrorist formations who took part in war in Syria, Iraq and Chechnya were sent by Kiev to Donbass. In regard to the date of the DPR Defense Ministry, terrorists who were in Syria, Iraq are at the positions of Shirokino now, and they conduct regular shelling to Shirokino and close to its villages. Today is the first meeting of contact group in Minsk in 2016. Be reminded that Ukrainian representative Roman Besmertny announced on 7th January that Minsk 3 was launched since the 1st January. However, DPR authorities did not sign any documents, and at the end of the last year, 2015, spokesman of the DPR Denis Pushilin said that Minsk 2 was not effective. Ukraine shelled territory of the DPR all the time, even in time of Christmas holidays. Be reminded that last weekend one woman was wounded in Gorlovka, and the shelling did not stop for several hours. It was difficult to deliver her to the hospital. Nearly every day, suburbs of the DPR of Donetsk, territory of airport, suburbs of Gorlovka are shelled every day, even in time of Christmas holidays. Nearly every day, suburbs of Donetsk of Gorlovka are shelled by troops sent here by Kiev junta. Very good news for Novorossia from our friends from Poland. Our friend and allies brought here to Donetsk and Lugansk on Christmas Day humanitarian aid. Orthodox Brotherhood of Saint Kirill and Methody gathered 11 tons of aid for Donbass population. The convoy included grains, flour, macaroni, washing powders, building materials. Be reminded that Donbass population is in a very difficult situation now. As a result of criminal actions by Kiev junta regime, Donbass is in economic blockade, and our allies from different countries and especially from Poland, they try to support us regularly.
Breaking news, Guru. 10 U.S. sailors captured by Iran's Revolutionary Guards. Iran's Revolutionary Guards said on Wednesday that Tehran has asked the U.S. for an apology for violating Iran's territorial waters after 10 American sailors were arrested. An Iranian naval commander said the U.S. aircraft carrier with the sailors on board had acted provocatively and unprofessionally for 40 minutes by carrying out maneuvers in the Gulf. Separately, a spokesman for the Revolutionary Guards said the U.S. sailors were being interrogated, according to Tasnim news agency. Late on Tuesday, a U.S. defense official said plans were in place for Iran to return the sailors to U.S. Navy vessel in international waters early on Wednesday. White House spokesman Josh Earnest told CNN, "We have received assurances from Iran that our sailors are safe and that they will be allowed to continue their journey promptly. But Iran's Revolutionary Guards later dismissed talk of the prompt release of the 10 U.S. sailors they had arrested as speculations by others. What others say about the sailors' prompt release is their speculation, and I don't confirm or deny it," Ramzan Sharif, the Guard spokesman, said in an interview with Tasnim news agency on Wednesday. Officials from Iran and the United States were negotiating to free the crew. News of the incident came hours before President Barack Obama made his final State of the Union address in the United States Congress prior to leaving office in January 2016. 2017. Obama did not mention the crew's detention in the hour-long speech, but he did not tout the nuclear deal with Tehran, saying the world has avoided another war. The White House expects the situation to be resolved quickly. Everyone, please be safe. Enjoy the rest of the holidays. Enjoy the rest of the week. See you all on Friday. Bye-bye, folks.